Sabi po nyo, ripe na po gumalaw yung fault. Ito ba ay base sa 2004 study o sa pagbabase sa pagsabi po nyo yan ay may bagong pag-aaral ang PHIVOLCS na ripe gumalaw yung fault na yan ngayon sa ating kinatatayuan? Ano bang ibig sabihin po
Pag
natin?
sinabi po namin ng ripe, ibig sabihin yung pumapasok na siya sa recurrence time.
Base pa sa pag-aaral ng Japan International Cooperation Agency o JICA, oras na yanigi ng Pilipinas ng lindol na may lakas na 7.2, 40% ng mga gusali sa Metro Manila ang posibleng gumuho. Ang problema, sa building code natin, 7.2 magnitude na lindol pa lang ang pasihan kapag nagtatayo ng masasabing matatag na gusali. Gayong posible pala ang lakas na 9.0 gaya ng nangyari sa Japan.
It is not anymore a matter of if it will hit us, the big one. Sinasabi niya ng big one. It is a matter of when it will hit us. Kailan po tatama itong ganitong klaseng earthquake.
Pero hindi naman daw nagpapabaya ang Department of Public Works and Highways. Mahigit 1,000 buildings na nga sa Metro Manila ang nasuri nila.
The bigger problem, I think, that was coming out yesterday was the low-cost buildings, no? That tend to do either shortcuts or do not follow strictly to the letter the building code.
Baka naka-live tayo pag sinabi.
Siyam na tulay daw ang kailangan ng i-reconstruct habang 11 ang alanganin na ang kondisyon. Hindi pa nasisilip ang katatagan ng MRT at LRT.
We prioritize the MRT, LRT, and the Skyway, please.
Skyway, because if we, Madam Chair, nangyari po sa Kobe, Japan, yung kanilang Skyway nag-collapse din sa mga napakaraming mga sasakyan. So maybe isama po natin yan, Secretary.
Pati daw ang MMDA handa na rin.
We have deployed earthquake tools in strategic locations around Metro Manila. Ito po yung mga nakalagay sa container vans, scattered in strategic locations.
Sana po
Paalala lang ng ilang senador sa mga ahensya ng gobyerno, mag-ingat sa pagbibigay ng impormasyon para hindi magpanik ang publiko. Panawagan naman ng Red Cross sa Senado, huwag lang institusyon ang suriin, kundi pati ang kahandaan ng mga individual at komunidad na karaniwang nalalagay sa alanganin tuwing may kalamidad. Maricel Halili, News 5.
Sinimulan na ng News 5 Action Center at Rescue 5 ang serye ng earthquake drills sa mga lugar na matatagpuan sa West Valley Fault. Ang una nilang binisita ang syudad ng Marikina. Ikwento mo, Franz Noguera.
Kasabay ng tunog ng sirena, nagmamadaling lumabas ng gusali ang mga empleyado ng Marikina City Hall at Health Office. Pati mga estudyante ng Santo Niño Elementary at Santa Elena High School lumabas ng classroom habang nasa ulo ang mga kamay. Ang mga sugatan, agad inilabas ng gusali, binigyan ng first aid saka isinakay sa ambulansya. Ilan lang ito sa mga eksena kanina sa isinagawang earthquake drill ng News 5 Action Center at Rescue 5 Center sa tulong ng Marikina City at Bureau of Fire and Protection. Si Aling Elizabeth, sineryoso ang sinalihang drill. Kahit kasi malayo sa Japan, parang naramdaman na rin daw niya ang bagsik ng lindol doon.
Nervous na ako kasi parang totoong may earthquake na darating talaga, nangangatog na ako, mami. Sabi ko parang totoo, parang hindi ko kayang maramdaman talaga pag totoo na.
Isa sa mga target ng drill ang mga estudyante. Sa research kasi ng Manila Observatory na ibinase sa pag-aaral ng Center of International Earth Science Information at Columbia University noong 2005. 15.6 na mga estudyante sa bansa na edad 5 hanggang 14 ang nakatira o di kaya'y nag-aaral sa mga eskwelahan na nasa earthquake zone.
Para po pag magkalindol po hindi po masasaktan niyo.
Para po maging handa rin po kasi po delikado rin po yun lalo na po yung nangyari sa ibang bansa.
Bukod sa mga dapat gawin, itinuro rin sa mga estudyante ang mga dapat ihanda gaya ng 72-hour survival kit. Kasama sa mga ito ang inuming tubig, mga pagkain, first aid kit, flashlight o kandila, damit, kumot o jacket, flash drive, timba o plastic bag, cellphone at charger.
Tayo nagkakaroon ng mga earthquake drill, ating seryosohin ito at maging aware tayo sa anumang mangyayari sa atin.
Target ng News 5 Action Center at Rescue 5 Center na magsagawa ng lingguhang drill sa mga high-risk na lugar, lalo na yung mga dinadaanan ng West Valley Fault. Franz Noguera, News 5.
Sa puntong ito, makibalita po tayo ngayon mula sa CNN correspondent na si Martin Savage para sa mga huling pangyayari dyan sa Japan. Good evening, Martin. This is Erwin Tulfo of TV5 Manila.
Good evening, Erwin.
Yeah,
Japan's nuclear crisis. Go ahead.
Can you update us on the ongoing efforts at the Fukushima Daiichi plant?
Well, one thing is certain, Japan's nuclear crisis is continuing to intensify, with authorities at the Fukushima nuclear power facility saying today that a second reactor out at the site may have ruptured, releasing radioactive steam. That announcement came after thick plumes of white smoke could be seen rising from the plant. That was in mid-morning, and officials say that they believe the steam is coming from reactor number 3, and that would be the same reactor that suffered a major explosion on Monday. Radiation levels at the plant also spiked at about the very same time. They also report there was a second fire at reactor number 4. And because of those raised radiation levels, there was a time when the remaining workers who are working at the site trying to pour water on the reactors had to abandon their positions and seek shelter, but we're told that they are now back on the job, pouring water back on the damaged reactors. And we also saw for the first time today helicopters dropping water from the air, attempting to apparently either extinguish the fires or cool what has been burning there. But the reality is it's very difficult to get a clear picture of what is happening out at the Fukushima facility because experts say it is simply too dangerous for anyone to approach those reactors and try to get a good look at them. Erwin?
This fire on the reactor 4, was it anticipated?
Well, you know, it's the second time that it's happened, and this is a reactor that was not actually functioning when the tsunami struck, but it is where they are storing a significant number of old fuel rods, and those old fuel rods still are extremely hot. And the problem is you have to keep them covered with water. Well, they haven't been keeping them covered with water because they've been focused on keeping the other reactors under control. It's possible that the fuel rods were what was burning, and if that's the case, it could be extremely dangerous for radiation. But they also say it may have been fuel nearby that was burning and not the fuel rods. So again, this goes back to the confusion and the fact that they really can't get a clear image to know what exactly is burning, Erwin.
Let's talk about the radiation levels in the area. The government, the Japanese government was saying, or what was their assessment on the impact on the people living in the area, and what is your assessment on the radiation level?
Well, first I'll say I'm not an expert, Erwin, so I can't tell you what my assessment is, but I will tell you that what officials are saying is that at the immediate site of the plant, there have been dangerous spikes where it's gone up and then it has dropped back down. As far as the surrounding area where the population lives, and keep in mind they've evacuated about 200,000 people from around the plant, but in that area they say that the levels have maintained for the most part within a safe category. Of course, all of this would depend on how long you might be exposed, whether it's for a couple of hours or whether it's for a couple of weeks, and that would make a significant difference in what the health risk could be. But they say for the most part the radiation levels have remained within safe levels in the public areas. They also say in Tokyo, for instance, that there's only been a very slight rise and it would have no impact on health whatsoever.
One last question, Martin. Japanese Emperor Akihito spoke for the first time on TV about the tragic quake and tsunami. Can you give us some highlights of his speech?
Well, first of all, the fact that he appeared on television is historic. That is the first time he's spoken on television to the Japanese people. And basically what he said was that, one, he asked them not to give up hope. And then, two, he also reminded them that the hearts of the international community were with the Japanese people. It should be pointed out, of course, that the emperor does not even speak to the people except in times of extreme crisis in this nation. And clearly, what is going on in Japan these days would fit that description. Erwin?
All right. Thank you very much, CNN correspondent Martin Savage.
Maraming eksperto na po ang nagsasabi malabong maapektuhan ang Pilipinas ng radiation sa Japan. Gayunman, sakaling makontamina ng radioactive materials, pagsasabon at pagligo lang